Okay. I think this is going to be the final video for today. Well, maybe I'll just add this in to make sure that we got the whole deal. So this is still mindfulness and still DBT, and I am still not a DBT teacher or counselor. I am a former DBT client, and I really think the material is effective. As always, with any kind of mental health, please take it seriously. It's a serious thing, even though we laugh and make light so that we don't overwhelm ourselves with the seriousness of it. It is very serious, and it is good to get help from professional counselors in groups. And then when you're in those professional counselors in group situations, it is helpful and good to keep an eye on and keep yourself strong and observe, and don't put all your, just be cautious, approach it with caution. And in the same spirit of that, this video, I put it out with the hope that it goes out in a good way. But if you do watch it, keep in mind that you're doing it at your own whatever risk. Yeah, it's a warning. You're doing it at your own risk. I'm not a teacher. I'm a patient. And I do have the lady that invented the materials has my utmost respect, but has no idea who I am as, and she is somewhere around here and can definitely. I'm waiting to get in trouble for this from someone. But I do have permission from the counselors to read the material online and post it and give my observations and my experiences with practicing the material. So, that said, practicing mindfulness is a way of retaking control of your mind when your mind is out of control. So you've got it's a diagram of like a bullseye target, and in the center of the target you've got your comfort zone. You're so comfortable, everything's cool, it's like you feel no stress. And then outside of that is sort of like where you're a little bit stressed out. Maybe you're in a classroom situation instead of hanging out with your friends, and you're feeling some stress, some good stress, and and that primes your brain to be able to learn. So you're in the learning zone. And then outside of that circle is another circle where you're sort of like, whoa, I'm out of my comfort zone, I'm out of my learning zone, I'm a little bit in panic. Like maybe you're just learning to drive and it's the first time that you go on a freeway and you're like, whoa, this is really fast. And then outside of that, of course, is like not good. Outside of that is just beyond panic, where you're like, this is really fast, and you're like, maybe hit the guardrail or whatever. So when you're out there in panic or outside of panic and you want to bring it back to learning zone or the comfort zone, then you want to take hold of your mind. These are ideas for practicing mindfulness to take hold of your mind. We've been through using observation, using non-judgmentalness skills, using descriptive skills, practicing one mindfulness, practicing participating. These are ideas for practicing effectiveness, because another way to take hold of your mind is just to get in there and do the effective thing. If you're having anxiety because the dishes are not done, get in there and do the dishes, because obviously then you're not going to have the anxiety of not having done the dishes. You're going to have the satisfaction that they're done. Same with, like I'm having anxiety right now because I need to walk my dog, but I also am waiting for the washing machine to get done, and I don't want to leave the house while the washing machine, so we're doing this while we wait. So effectively, I'm reducing that anxiety of waiting for the washing machine to finish and my dog wanting to have a walk by taking hold of my mind and making some videos that no one's watching. But that effectively reduces my distress at not being able to just like run out and walk the dog right away because I'm waiting for the washing machine, blah blah blah. So instead of freaking out, I'm doing this. And so effectiveness is one of my favorites. Ideas for practicing effectiveness. And I don't know that the list is one of my favorites. It's a pretty blank list. There's 5. Observe when you begin to get angry or hostile with someone. Ask yourself, is this effective? I don't think this is how I read effectiveness or how I use effectiveness. But anyway, I'm going to read it non-judgmentally now. So is this effective? 2, observe yourself. Observe yourself when you start wanting to be right instead of effective. Give up being right and switch to trying to be effective. Notice willfulness in yourself. Ask yourself, is this effective? Drop willfulness and practice acting effectively instead. Notice the difference. When feeling angry or hostile, or like you're about to do something ineffective, practice willing hands. Okay, so that's the mental health take on effectiveness. I think there's another take on it somewhere. And then on the back, you have a little cartoon of a frog, and the frog is like freaking out instead of focusing in and being mindful. And so some of the thoughts that's going through the frog's head, the frog's washing dishes, and instead of just being mindful and being like, washing the plate. I'm washing the plate. I'm washing the plate. I'm rinsing the plate. I'm rinsing the plate. You know, and that sounds a little bizarre, but it's better than having so many thoughts going through your head. So here's this frog washing the dishes, and these are some of the things that are in the frog's head all at once. I'm more important things to do with my life than the dishes. I shouldn't have to do this. Nobody appreciates me. I'm using too much water, and I am a bad environmentalist. Washing dishes is so boring. Why do I have to do this again? Is anybody going to thank me for this? Look at the carbon footprint of this hot water. This is a complete waste of time. I'd rather be like, washing the plate. And see, that's where I get into it, because I don't go for the one mindfulness thing as much. I'm like, obviously I've said over and over, I argue this, but I will practice it, because just like, you know, you might argue that you don't need carrots, you might just like eat them just in case. So my thing is, these are all negative thoughts and negative energies, so I don't just go to the neutral one mindfulness side of it. I go to the other side and I just like practice the positivity of it. It's like, man, instead of I've got more important things to do with my life than wash the dishes. I'm like, I feel so lucky that I can wash the dishes. I've got hot water, I've got dish soap, and not only that, but it's dish soap that I like. And check it out, my dishes kind of all match a little bit. Like I've got 3 matching plates of one kind and 3 matching plates of another with only a few chips in them. And yeah, I shouldn't have to do this. No, you could be like, I'm so lucky to be able to do this, man. Even if you don't want to, you could be like, man, I'm so glad that I got up off my deadbeat butt and I'm doing the dishes, because I don't always do it. Sometimes I just sit there and be like, the dishes pile up, you know, or nobody appreciates me. Who cares? I'm wasting too much, using too much water. Give yourself some statistics. It doesn't really matter that much, because all the consumers everywhere only use 2% of the water usage. All the rest of it is used by industry. So yeah, recycling is good because it makes us feel personally responsible and personally like we've got some control in our lives. It gives us a sense of personal power, but it's not effectively going to flip the environment, because we're just like not that big of a consumer. I think we're between 2 and 12%. I can't exactly remember. So that's what I'm saying. Instead of like, you know, like, don't just go to mindful. If all you can do is go to mindfulness, yay. But like, take active, be a warrior on that stuff. Hit it with some positive energy. You know, you're feeling negative about stuff, hit that. So that's sort of like my take on that. And then overview, other perspectives on mindfulness. So then it's got like boxes with only a few words in them, and I'm just going to read the boxes and move on because I don't know what we did with this. Overview, other perspectives of mindfulness. Box 1, mindfulness practice, a spiritual perspective. Box 2, skillful means, taking hold of your everyday life by balancing doing mind and being mind. Oh, I see. Box 3 is wise mind, walking the middle path. And so those are 3 different perspectives of mindfulness. Then the final handout is the reason, the goals of mindfulness practice, a spiritual perspective. And I guess this is a spiritual perspective, but not a religious perspective. You might go, I'm like, this is not a religion. And it's not. From my perspective, it's not. It's it's like exercise. Like you go out and you work out and do a bunch of sit-ups if you're working that area of your body, or do a bunch of leg stuff if you want to make your legs stronger or something. So that's how I look at it. I'm way more into practicality on some aspects, even though I believe in God, and it's hard for me. It's hard to I don't want to I want to get as much people to be able to participate with. Anyway, non-judgmentally, let's move on to reading this. Goals of mindfulness practice, a spiritual perspective, because this is how the material is written. So the goals would be to experience, to grow in wisdom, to experience freedom, and to increase love and compassion. Now I'm going to go back and read the underneath parts of each. So to experience like the ultimate reality as it is, which leads to a sense of inner spaciousness and awareness of intimate wholeness with the entire universe, the transcendence of boundaries, and the ground of our being. See, that's like too mushy for me. To grow in wisdom of the heart and of action. To experience freedom by letting go of attachments to the demands of your own desires, cravings, and intense emotions, and radically accepting reality as it is. To increase love and compassion towards yourself and towards others. I like those. Short, and sweet. But you can see, the long glitches. That is all. Thank you. Have a nice day. I've made several videos, and it's now just about 1 minute past 1 o'clock. It's January 19th of the year 2019, and I feel much better for having practiced effectiveness my way.